Hello, everybody. This is John Lind with BB Digital Lab, and you're listening to the BB&J Podcast. So today I'm going to be talking about something that we've kind of talked about before, but I want to get into it in a little more detail, and that is the question of how do you turn one video into a month's worth of content? Now, that sounds a little crazy, but bear with me. We're going to get into precisely how you do that. Because there's a question of like, oh, well, is video content good? I've talked about that. I've told you video content is impactful. Video content, makes a difference. Is the ultimate form of content. And I've gotten into why it is the ultimate form of content. I've gotten into like, okay, why is this so vital for your business, for your brand, for you as an individual to grow online? Why is video so impactful? And I mean, what it really comes down to is you could do so much with it. You could put it in so many different places. And this week, or this episode of the BB&J Podcast, I'm getting into it. So to start off with, you have your video, right? You have, even if it's, 10 minutes is a little short, but even if it's 15 or 20 minutes, how many clips is that? How many memorable quotes is that? And if you structure your video properly, which is you should be doing anyways, you will have a lot of very memorable, very repostable quotes. It's very important. Your video, you can't think of it as just being tidbits, but there needs to be that structure of these concrete thoughts. Oftentimes, we have a habit of stringing together words and sentences in this one long runoff or paragraph that doesn't really end, is just kept together by likes, ands, and ums. But you need to give it space. You need to give your podcast or whatever video it is, really, space. So you can make those clips, and express those different thoughts. Because if you have one video, then that's the video. But in 20 minutes, how many concrete, repostable, meme worthy or like engagement worthy content is that? I'm not saying it's not necessarily 20, especially early on, but that's easily 5, So a month is only 4 weeks. You now have at least one clip a week. You could realistically get 2 clips a week. Do Monday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Monday, Thursday. But boom, you got a month's worth of clips out of one video. And as long as you're structuring your video in a way that you can easily produce clips out of it, you're sitting pretty. Something else you can do is the audio transcript. This is incredibly powerful, especially for segments that aren't the full length of the podcast, but are longer than clips. More than 15 seconds, but less than the whole 20 minutes. If you want to do a more long form text transcription of your podcast, have it as, the whole 20 minutes, that's fine. Once again, it comes down to that question of repostability. However, when you're distributing all these different platforms, because you're still distributing your main podcast, right? But you're also you're still distributing your main video, but you're also distributing the clips, right? So the same can be said for the text. You get the full text, you post that on the different platforms. So people want to read a more long form content. That's just So if people want to read long form content that's just taken from your video, you don't have to be throwing anything crazy. You're literally just pulling stuff from the video that you made. They can do that. When you're creating those shorter, like 2-3 paragraph text sections, snippets, how many of those can you get? At least one a week. You post it every Monday. Once again, you're looking good. That's a month's worth of text content. So you have months worth of long form video, right? With that main thing. We start off with that. And it's a month's worth because now you've got your clips, 1 to 2 a week. You have your short and long form text, 1 to 2 a week. It starts adding up, okay? Because you don't need to be posting, depending on who you're targeting, there are certain demographics where you need to be posting basically 24/7. Those heavy engagement, people really want to be seeing you 24/7 kind of content. That's one thing. Or even like Twitch streaming. You got to be posting a lot because people want to be seeing you a lot. But with most professions, posting once a day, once every other day, once every 2 days is perfectly fine. I would say, though, not too less frequently than every 2 days. And something like a once a month video can do an excellent job at that. So we talked about how video can get turned into more video, right? You can easily quadruple the amount of videos you're getting just from your little 20-minute sit down and talk about whatever it may be with your clips. And then we went into text. You do the transcription, you do the short form, or you do the long form, you do the semi-short form. But let's talk about graphics. This is also extremely important. If you're describing a system in your video, that can be a graphic. If you're describing a process or some sort of verbal flow chart, that can be a graphic. Now you're getting graphic content, right? Content that is based on graphics, not graphic content in the way you may be thinking. But that kind of content has a lot of power. And then with all of these, it's not a question of what's better or worse. It's just a question of how are you reaching people? Text is a good way to reach people. Video is a good way to reach people. Images, infographics, and all of that are excellent ways, they're all excellent ways to reach people. So why aren't you doing all of them? Go on all the tracks. Get them across platforms. This is an effective way to consistently and reliably engage with people. So, but it's not just infographics. You can take even the shorter form text content of just little quotes, a sentence, maybe two, and turning that into images. Maybe you have a nice background, maybe it's a picture of you, and you have the text up there. That's even more content. I mean, how many of those can you make? 3 a week, 4 a week, if you're just doing over 1 month. Heck, you could stretch that over to like 3 months. That'd be fine. I mean, a lot of this comes down to the nature of how you're producing this. If you're focused on content heavy, not necessarily like every sentence is like ridiculous, but if like it has a ridiculous amount of stuff in it, but every sentence or as many sentences as possible in your video, I should be able to take out and have it sound good. So like that sentence, if I pull that out, stuck it in a clip, or stuck it in on an inspirational quote, that wouldn't look bad. You want to make sure that your videos have those moments. Follow this, at least 4. And for a 20-minute video, that's 1 every 5 minutes. I think you can do it. You can do it. You can figure this stuff out. It might take a little practice to get into the rhythm, but the reward is going to be, tenfold. But I mean, literally, you take one video and you have your short form video, excellent for TikTok, excellent for Instagram, excellent for Facebook. A lot of these platforms, they love short form video. You should be putting that out there. Same goes for short form, medium form, even long form text. Get that out there. Get that all over the place. Your video should be working for you. If you're just leaving it as it's 20 minutes self, it's 30 minutes self, you're going to be getting engagement. It's excellent that you're doing that from the beginning to begin with, but you could be doing so much more with it. Getting your face out there, that's a wonderful opportunity to very directly and engage with your audience. That's something you always want to be doing. I know like the ABC stuff, but how about always be engaging? ABE. If you're regularly engaging with people, then you're going to be in their consideration set. And even if they don't need you right now, even if they don't need you in 3 months, at some point, they could very well need your services, whatever those may be, or your product, right? When that time comes, you want to be there for them. You want to be there with your videos, with your graphics, with your text content, saying, I've got you. You can trust that I can deliver you a product or a service that's going to get what you need reliably, efficiently, rapidly. If you can deliver that through your content, you're sitting pretty. So that's my 2 cents to 16 cents, if we're going by the rules of developing content, on how to turn one video into a month's worth of content. To wrap it up, I'll give a specific example because I figure it could be beneficial, right? Let's say this podcast. Let's get a little meta for a second. So as you could hear, or like, how do I turn this podcast itself into a month's worth of content? I generally try to put out once a week, but still doable, right? Well, at the top of the month, or when I'm ready to put this out, I post the full video. And I'm getting Facebook, I'm getting YouTube, I can publish this across platforms. From there, I've got my clips, right? I have the 3 main subjects that I talked about of video, text, and what was it? Audio, short form video, images, and text. So that's at least 3 clips. I could easily turn that into 6, or so 4 or 5 would be nothing, right? That's a month's worth of video content. I can turn those clips into quotes. I can pull quotes from different sections of the podcast, put those into infographics. There's my image. I can take those clips, kind of string together the full, complete, fully fleshed out thought, and turn that into text. How many fully fleshed out thoughts do I have in this podcast? I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but enough enough for a month. I could do it. And you could do it too. It might take a little bit of time to get into the rhythm of figuring out what can go where effectively and structuring your podcast to be mindful of that, or whatever video content it is. But I promise you, it pays off. And on that, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you either later this week or next week. Have a good one.